And checking back in again, I told you I was going to keep this content coming at you. And, I appreciate everyone that's pressing like. I appreciate if you're subscribing. If you look down below, you'll be able to subscribe. It might even be on your side, depending on kind of if you're on your computer or your phone. But either way, this is another installment of Did You Know? And I wanted to kind of touch back on something I talked about earlier, which is folks not having skills. My name is Louis Conway Jr., first of all, and all of that. This is your first time, but it's probably not. Anyway, did you know that folks don't have access to education, right, in prison? Now, uh, you do have access to a GED, but it's weird, right? So if you have a GED, you will have access to certain type of trades and certain levels of education within the prison system. But if you have a high school diploma, it's completely different. It's almost like you're penalized for having a high school diploma in prison in terms of pursuing an education. Now, just recently, the Pell Grant has been approved. I'm going to post a link on that in the description because I don't know enough about what's happening with that. But when I was in prison is when they stopped the Pell Grant. And so that meant you were not able to go to college without paying for it. And, of course, if your family isn't able to send you commissary money, they're definitely not going to be able to send you money to go to school. So they had a credit program where, if you would pay for a class, they would pay for a class. And then after you were out, whichever classes they paid for, you would pay for as part of your parole fees. So just wanted to kind of talk about, folks don't come home with a free education. When you find people that have been in prison, that you perceive as being educated, it's because they educated themselves. If you find people who have come home who are learned, it's because they taught themselves. I didn't learn how to shoot video in prison. I didn't learn how to edit video in prison. They didn't have those courses available. But I posed a question: what if they had been? Right? What if folks had have had access? My man Erlon Woods, when I first heard Ear Hustle podcast, that was the first time I was like, that is brilliant. Do you know what that does for a person to be able to come home, with that podcast experience? Just having been in front of a mixing board, just having been exposed to a boom microphone, um, I employed people on my video sets and my film sets that had never held a boom. And specifically, that's why I did it, because they had never been exposed to it. But can you imagine if we were able to pull from a pool of people who had been kind of trained, skilled, and that was part of their release program? So, did you know that there's no free education in prisons, jails, and detention centers, and there should be? And did you know that, when you vote and when talking about voting, that should be part of your ask, is that people in prison, jails, and detention centers have access to education? I'm going to talk more about the education piece in a video coming up, but I think, for right now, I think it's important that you understand that people don't have access to education after they come home from prison. All right. So if you don't know, now you know. Make sure you like, subscribe, tell somebody about the channel, and let's see if we can get these subscribers up. All right. Y'all have a good one. Peace.